Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another session on Kanselor University. My name once again is Emmanuel Fine. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Kanselor University. At Kanselor University, we strongly believe that the solution to Africans' problems lies in teaching enough African businessmen and women how to build and run profitable and sustainable businesses, which is why at Kanselor University, our mission is to teach you and other African businessmen and women how to make your business profitable and sustainable. Today, once again, we'll be teaching from one of our books titled Executive Confidence, which is a book on how you can make yourself confident and successful by some of the habits that you should develop, which you might not necessarily have for now. So today, we're going to be looking at some subjects. And one of them, what we will be starting with today, is what I've titled in my book, Becoming Strategically Lazy. Strategic laziness is a key aspect of building success in your business and career. Now, what does strategic laziness mean? Let me start. A few years back, when I just got married, I found out that most times, because my wife was also working and my business was a bit freer, I was the one that was doing the laundry for myself, my family, my wife, and my children. Then it was taking me sometimes it can take me about 5 hours just to do our laundry. That was until one day somebody recommended, say, fine, why not get a washing machine? Now, what I did was that I now got a washing machine, and I found out that within a week, that the 5 hours I was using to wash could actually be used to read why the machine would be doing the washing. Now, what it now made me was that I now asked myself, what are other things that I can delegate? What are other things that I can assign to other people to actually do for me instead of me using my hand or deploying my energy and time to do those things? Now, I made a list of those things that I said, going forward, I'm not going to do anymore. One of them was like washing my car. One of them is about doing some of the typings in the office. And when I started to do this, I made sure that no matter how dirty my car is, if the driver didn't wash it, I was not going to wash it. Because those times that I was supposed to use to wash it, I ensured that I used it to do things that made me more productive and more successful. You too need to find out areas that you are currently deploying a lot of time and a lot of money and resources to, but which are giving you less returns after you've done them. Strategic laziness means that when you've identified those areas that are consuming more time, more of your resources, but giving you less return, you need to make up your mind and tell yourself that no matter how bad these things are, I will not use my time to do those things. That going forward, I will use my time. The time I would have used to do this thing, I would have used it to deploy, to develop myself. You find out that there are a lot of things that you are doing, and most of them are things that somebody else can do for you comfortably well. A lot of us might be doing our accounting, for instance, and those accounting in our business are taking you hours to do. But these are things that you can actually, even if you can't afford to pay an accountant full time, you can decide, okay, going forward now, I'll get an accountant whose job will be to come in once a week to do my accounting. And because of that, I'm no longer going to do anything that has to do with accounting. Rather, my job now will be to review the data that this person is giving to me. Strategic laziness means that look at all areas that's where you are deploying your time. I studied a lot of successful men and women, and I found out that all successful people choose to become strategically lazy, meaning that they've selected the list of things that they will focus their time and energy on, and nothing else will encroach on those time and space. And because of that, you find out that they have learned to say no to a lot of things, and that way creating time to the areas that are more productive for their life and their business. You need to learn to start to say no to a lot of things. Because it's when you say yes to a lot of things, can you do this? Yes. Will you do that? Yes. When you start to do that, the areas that you're supposed to deploy your time and energy and resources so that your business can grow faster, you find out that those areas of high productivity are not getting the attention that they deserve. Now, the other area too that I also want to talk about today is having a lazy day program. Now, most of us who have found out that there are days on which we are just too lazy or too tired to do anything. You might wake up on certain days and you realize that you just don't feel like going to work. Now, for most of us, on such days, we find out that a lot of people waste those days because they don't know how to turn their lazy days into productive days. Now, here is a solution for you. If you're having the challenge of not knowing what to do on those days that you just feel so tired to do anything, the way to turn your lazy days into very productive days is for you to design videos, audio program that you can say, okay, because I'm not going to do any physical work today, that today I'm going to use this period to train myself. I found out that there are certain days I'm just too tired to do any work. And on those days, what do? I go to YouTube, I put on some videos, training videos that can run for about 5 hours. And I play them non-stop for as long as I'm in my lazy mood. I ensure that during those periods, during those phases that I can't mentally do anything, that somebody on the video is actually teaching me. Which means on those lazy phases, those periods, I might be in the office, I'm just too tired to do anything. I put on my YouTube videos. I go to top teachers like Tony Robbins. I go to world billionaires. Like today, during my lazy mood today, I was listening to Ray Dalio, who is the owner of one of the most successful companies in the world and one of the 25th richest men in the world. So that I could learn some key ways of running my life and not just relaxing on my bed or in my room and whiling away time. It's about learning how to make your lazy days more productive and more successful for you. The other area I also want to talk about is a lot of us get into a lot of mess in our business and career because we tend to make a lot of assumptions in the way we work with people. Take for instance, if I tell you that I want you to get the book on the back seat of my car. Now, as we speak, we have about 5 books there. Now, somebody can just rush off to the car and say about the 5 books there, and he will decide to just pick any one. The mother of most mistakes that we make are assumptions. A lot of times we assume that people will do certain things without knowing that our assumptions is different from what the person intends. And most times, people deliberately allow us to make assumptions because they want to take advantage of us. I've had a lot of instances where I've gone into negotiation with people and we come into some certain agreements, and I assume that they will keep their own side of the bargain without knowing that this guy didn't intend to keep their own side of the bargain. And what this has taught me that in all business negotiation, that at the end of the day, you need to tabulate and put it in writing the agreement between you and the other party. Is when you learn to clear up all assumptions that areas of ambiguity can actually be cleared. And when you start to work on your areas of ambiguity and you start to clear all these assumptions that most times are the factors that make you less productive. Most times, a lot of mistakes you make in life are because of these assumptions that you made. You assume that somebody will pay you without asking him, is this the amount you are willing to pay for this service I'm rendering to you? You assume that when you supply these goods, that this person is going to pay you after so time. Without knowing in his own mind, he's assuming that you don't expect him to pay. A lot of us sometimes are too embarrassed to ask questions to people that would later on lead to a lot of business crisis. If you want to make your business more profitable and sustainable today, one of the key lessons you must learn is to ask questions. Questions are the way to clear all assumptions. Questions are the way to ensure that what you are thinking is what the other party is thinking. Because if you don't do that, you find out that you encounter a lot of disappointment and a lot of failures in your business. You know, I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, which is, especially in Nigeria, is based on a lot of credit sales. Now, most sales rep, you find out that when they go to supply, most of them fail to ask the buyer, when are you going to pay me? Now, they assume that this guy knows that he should pay you within the next 7 days. But the person might actually be assuming that he is going to pay you after 2 weeks. At the end of the day, when you come to collect your money after the 7 days, what do you realize? That the person is not even ready for you at that particular moment because your assumption and his assumption are different. That is why most top senior executives who are successful in their career, they've learned to ask questions, clarifying questions. When they send somebody on a very important task, they ask the person, what did I ask you to go and do? Because though they've communicated what you expect the person to do, they want to ensure that in the person's mind, what they communicated is actually what the person intends to go to do. Because if you don't clear all these assumptions, you find out that you have your own idea of what you expected the person to do, while the person on his or her own part has an idea of what they expect to go to do. It's important for you, as somebody in Africa who wants to make his business profitable and sustainable, to look around you and ask yourself, what are the assumptions that I've been using to drive my business that have actually been pulling me down? How have I been assuming that a customer will do certain things and they've not been doing it? Most importantly, in the area of record keeping, how are you sure that your staff are actually doing the recording in your business the way they're supposed to do it? Because a lot of times, we just assume that our staff will be honest. We just assume that the way we expect our business to run is the way the business is being run. That is why, because of this assumption, very few businesses have taken out time to design an SOP, a standard operating procedure, which is the step-by-step way that guides the operation of their business. And what happens is that whenever they are not around, you find out that the way they do their business is different from the way the staff will be doing their business, which means they can't guarantee that the productivity in their business will actually continue whether they are there or not. Recently, I was with a business owner, and he was complaining how whenever he's not in his business, business tends to drop. And I asked him, how do you attend to your customers? And he explained to me. How do your staff attend to the customers? He said they just attend to him any way, whatever way they like. I asked him, have you ever taken time to draft how you want them to greet your customer? How you want them to attend to your customer, how you want them to record sales while attending to customers, and how you want them to close sales when the customer has finished buying? He said no. I said that is where you miss it. Because most times we just assume that the staff are supposed to know what they're supposed to do. Yes, we give them training. Yes, we pass them through certain courses. But we don't take our time to say, see, this is the basic way we want to run the business. That is why SOPs are very powerful anywhere in the world. That is why the taste of Coca-Cola is the same all over the world. Because the standard operating procedure for producing a bottle of Coke in Nigeria is the same way they used to produce it in India, in China, and in America. If you don't have an SOP that guides your business, you find out that it's very, very difficult for you to run a profitable and sustainable business. So stop assuming that your staff know what they are supposed to do. Go back. Ask yourself, what is the best way that gives us the best result? Now, when you've identified the best way that gives you the best result, start now to say, this is how we want to run our businesses. You know, like I said earlier, today I was listening to Ray Dalio, one of the 25th richest man in the world. And he said in the early 80s, he had a massive business failure. Now, when he started to come back, one of the things he decided to do on a daily basis was, at the end of each day, he will write out the things he did that worked for him and the mistakes he made. Now, every day, he used this thing to tabulate the things that were giving him results, and he designed his SOP of his business around those things and designed the things that must not be done around those things that he did that made his business not to succeed. And with time, he has designed an SOP of success such that any new staff that comes into his business or his business employee, they already have a standard manual that lists step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. The same has to apply to you. You need to have a system whereby you take out time to study the things, assuming that whenever you are around, that sales tend to jump up. Or assuming there's a particular staff, when he or she is around, your sales tends to jump up. Your job as the business owner is to start to ask them, have a weekly meeting and ask them, on these days that sales were okay for us, were very wonderful, what were the things that we did on these days? And then you capture all those things that you did on those days, then you use them to design your standard operating procedure. For instance, there was an experiment in one of the pharmaceutical shops that we work with. There's an experiment that we did. I said, okay, see what we will do. For any, you say your sales were not good, say yes. So for any customer that comes in, that day when they are trying to show them how to sell, any customer that came in, I started marketing the high-end multivitamin to them, to the customers. At the end of the day, they found out because we're deliberately marketing the high-end multivitamins, that we're selling so much of those high-end multivitamins that sales on those days were high. Now, what we now designed into the SOP of that particular pharmacy was the first thing you sell to customers after attending to them, the main need they came is to market one of the high-end multivitamins. And that way they've been able to maintain a consistent sale, that if any new staff comes, the staff already know that our SOP here is that when you attend to the patient's need, you must market at least one high-end multivitamin to this person. Find out things that work for your company. Don't just sit down and expect magics to work. Assumptions are things that are killing your business. Now, there's also a way that you can actually use to improve sales in your business. Now, that way is learning to use your CCTV to grow sales. A lot of us have CCTVs in our businesses, but most times we just use this to check if there's any fraud or any theft going on in our business, without understanding that the basic work of a CCTV for your business should actually be how to drive sales. What do I mean? At the end of each day, you need to take at least 2 days to study your CCTV to see how your staff are attending to your customers. You look at the staff attitude, look at their approach, look at their dressing. That way you can pick areas of correction to tell them, see, this way you address this patient is not the right way to do it. The way you attended to this customer is not the right way. Now, you did this very well. I think we need to inculcate it into our SOP. When you start to do this, when you start to use your CCTV as a tool for driving sales rather than as a tool for checking fraud, you find out that you are not only checking fraud, because your staff know that on a regular basis this CCTV is being watched. Most of them that would have been tempted to actually steal will be deterred from doing that. But most importantly, you guys are now using it as a tool to unconsciously and consciously monitor the performance of each staff. Now, when every staff knows that they've been monitored, that the CCTV will be assessed on a weekly basis, you find out that those staff that tend to be laid back whenever you are not around, those staff that tend to be lazy whenever you are not around, you find out most of them now become very active because there's a system put in place to check their performance. Your business, the way it is, can actually be made more successful. Your business, the way it's currently structured, have certain areas that can actually be tweaked to give you the result you want. That is why we are always advocating at Kanselor University that you need to actually start to develop yourself. You need to actually start to read. Read more books on how to turn your life around and your business around. Currently, I'm reading the autobiography of Aliko Dangote. And in reading it, I came to understand the importance of political economics. How you need to marry politics and economics in running a successful business. Because if you don't know how to play political economics, a government policy can rise up today and can destroy your business. For instance, today rice is a banned commodity in Nigeria as at now. But assuming you had three years ago when it was not banned, your major source of livelihood was rice import. And you didn't try to play a role in the government policy. Suddenly the door to rice import was shut down by a single government policy. That means all your business has suddenly overnight been closed up. It's important for you is when you start to read. I got to understand this because I was reading a book about Aliko Dangote. That is why we're saying at Kanselor University there are certain books we recommend to you on a daily basis during our programs and our videos with you. We are asking you that you need to start to read. You need to start to watch these videos to help turn your business around. You need to start to read at least one book every 2 weeks. All leaders are readers. Because it's the ideas and concepts you get from the books you read that will turn your business around. It's time we stop blaming the economy, we stop blaming the country or the government for the way things are going on in our business and in our country. I say that irrespective of what is happening in the economy today, I will run a profitable and sustainable business. So my assignment for you, for those of you who have our book, Executive Confidence, I want you to go to chapter 8, which is the key habits. This is the area we talked about today. Read up those ones. If there's any way you find, if you have any questions, just send us a message on our WhatsApp number 08023622171. Or you can actually call one of our coaches on our website, www.kanseloruniversity.com, so that one of our coaches will actually help to clear up any area of confusion you might have. It's high time you start to build up your business and build up your career. So tomorrow we'll be talking on another area of business, on how you can turn your business around. Tomorrow we are going to be looking at the loopholes in different businesses that, when, despite the fact that your business is generating a lot of revenue, you can't find the profit in your business. Meaning that we'll be talking about the missing profit in your business tomorrow. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Ifeanyi, and our mission for you is to help make your business profitable and sustainable. See you tomorrow, and God bless you.